Hello, my name is Gage Garner, and today I'm going to be presenting a psychological case analysis of Yoshikage Kira. So Yoshikage Kira is the main antagonist from the anime series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, and he is a 33-year-old office worker living in Morio who desires a quiet life while secretly being a serial killer. And Morio is a fictional town in Japan, and the series is set in 1999. And Morio is a suburban town that is kind of on the smaller side, and he works as a salaryman. So my diagnosis for Yoshikage Kira is going to be antisocial personality disorder, and the description of ASPD is a pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others, often beginning in childhood and continuing into adulthood. Key traits of ASPD include failure to conform to social norms, deceitfulness, and a profound lack of remorse. And as you can see in the picture, he is slamming that guy into the ground. So my evidence and symptoms for this ASPD diagnosis being the best one for him starts with the symptom 1, which is the lack of remorse. And obviously, being a serial killer, he's killing people, right? So obviously he has no empathy for his victims. And what he does is he severs the hands of his victims and he keeps them and has relationships with the victim's hands. So symptom 2 is going to be deceitfulness. And about halfway through the series, later on, he kills someone named Kosaku Kawajiri, and he assumes his identity and fools both the wife and the son of that family just to maintain his anonymity to people investigating into him. And his weakest symptom, that is unlike most ASPD diagnoses, is he is not impulsive at all. He is extremely methodical, and he plans all of his life down even to the fingernail measurements. And that's not something that you usually see with ASPD. And right there I have the DSM-5 diagnostic criteria, which is what I had on the first slide, plus deceitfulness and lack of remorse, and a description of those two. And down here, while ASPD is often linked to impulse aggression, individuals with high psychopathic traits, like Kira, are more likely to engage in premeditated aggression. And that is from this paper by Swagger Walsh and Cosson. So the impact on life that this ASPD diagnosis will have is you can see it in the series through his professional life, where he purposely avoids promotions at his job, even though he is quoted to be a genius in the show, and he's limiting his potential to succeed both in the workforce and in life in general to kind of stay under the radar and out of the eye of a lot of people looking into him. And for social and personal life, he cannot make friends. He cannot form genuine human connections because he sees other humans as objects and obstacles in his way. And the only way that he can form a connection is by taking a severed hand of his victim. And those are the only ones that he feels a connection to. And through his daily life, as you can see in the series, every single action he does is dictated by the need to hide his disorder, or not really a disorder, but the fact that he's a murderer as well. And he is constantly trying to perform in public, and he's very isolated from everyone. So my proposed treatment plan is going to be mentalization-based treatment, and this focuses on improving ability to understand mental states of oneself and others. So like I said, Kira and individuals like Kira, they view others as obstacles or objects, and ASPD in this case is very, very hard to quote-unquote cure, but this is the best way to do it because MBT aims to bridge the gap to reduce violent behavior. And the problem with this treatment plan is that the ethicality of it is shaky because Kira is probably going to be very self-centered and egoistic about this treatment plan, and he would not want to change. So he could very easily feign improvement and just lie to the therapist or whoever he's doing this treatment with just to make it look like he's improving. And this study that I read, it says that mentalization for in the mentalization for offending adult males trial, it found that with patients that received MBT showed a 50% reduction in aggressive behavior compared to those receiving standard probation services. The study also observed a 58% reduction in major offenses over a 3-year follow-up period, suggesting that the therapy may contribute to the remission of ASPD symptoms. So obviously that's the main goal. You want to keep Kira from killing as many people as possible. And for the broader and cultural perspectives, I think that the portrayal of if you were to look at Kira as a portrayal of ASPD, I think that it is very accurate, because Kira puts on a mask of sanity and he has absolutely no remorse for the people he kills, which I think that part is accurate for ASPD. But whenever it comes to his highly calculated nature and the way he predicts and plans everything, that's more aligned with general psychopathy. And the problem with this depiction is that ASPD victims are awesome. They're often portrayed as these monsters, right? These crazy killers in media, and the public often overlooks people that show the subtle and manipulative signs in general society of people that may have ASPD but aren't outwardly impulsive and aggressive to everyone. So if you look at this from a cultural lens, in Japan, social isolation and the work culture could very easily camouflage the symptoms of ASPD, because everybody's very, very quiet and reserved, and they kind of don't really talk to each other and look at each other. And Kira in the show is kind of the model Japanese salaryman for kind of what you would want to be, somebody who's very quiet, keeps to themselves, and doesn't really want to talk to anyone. And since that's the case, a Japanese therapist would most likely not diagnose him with anything, because he appears to be a model citizen in Japanese society. So this study by Topino and Sharp that I read discusses how personality disorders manifest differently in collectivist versus individualist societies. For example, America is an individualist society versus Japan, which is a collectivist society. So research suggests that in collectivist cultures, antisocial behavior may take a more internalizing or stealthy form to maintain the appearance of social harmony, contrary to individualistic cultures, where it is more often externalizing and overly disruptive. And here are my references for all of the research papers that I used in the DSM-5 description, and that'll be it for my presentation. Thank you.